Hi everybody, welcome to Mike's Madisonville Garden. If this is your first time checking in, I'm Mike and this is Madisonville. Today we would like to have a little show and tell about tomatoes. You can't have a backyard garden without tomatoes. Every survey, every seed company will tell you that the #1 selling seed and plant is tomatoes, and for good reason. They're fun to grow. Most people like them, but if you talk to most of those tomato growers, they would say the most troublesome crop, the most high maintenance crop and temperamental crop is the tomato. So I'd like to just take you around my garden and look at my tomato plants and tell you what's been working for me and how I keep things going. And hopefully what I say might work for you. Hopefully it'll work for you. But let's turn the camera around and go take a walk. All right. So I want to start off. This is, we call this the little house. My wife is a Mardi Gras designer and she keeps all her stuff in there. So, I've used this wall for a few tomatoes. And check it out, y'all. Now these first 3 here are called Sky Reacher. That's a tomato you don't really hear much about. My son up in Maryland has an entire warehouse of seeds, and visited him a couple of months ago. Well, a few months ago. I saw these Sky Reacher tomato seeds. I said, well, I'll give those a try. And you can see how well they're doing. That's a bell pepper plant. I'm going to talk about bell peppers at a later date. I wish I could tell you for sure what brand tomato this is, but it's a volunteer. If you're not familiar with that, that just means a plant that you didn't plant it, it just kind of showed up on its own. So when I saw it, I put it in a grow bag, and my guess, it's a beefsteak, because I grew beefsteaks last year, and probably one of those seeds just fell into the ground. But I want you to notice a couple of things. At the bottom here, I got a stack of, these are just milk crates that have been donated to me by the manager of Waffle House. And then I got them sitting in grow bags. Grow bags are, I think, quite underrated. I know more and more people are using them, but I think more people should. They just make life so much easier. Now look, in a perfect world, if we all lived in the Garden of Eden with perfect soil, I'd love to grow everything in the ground. But this isn't a perfect world, not yet. So I find that growing in grow bags has made a big difference. But one thing I want you to notice is that look how healthy and green these tomatoes are. And I pointed out the crates and the bags because I think this is definitely part of the reason. They are elevated, and then they're in these bags, and so that means you can control things a lot more. You can water them without watering the plant itself. One major rule that you have to remember with tomatoes is keep the plant dry. Not the soil. You definitely want to water, but you want to water just the soil, and the grow bags have nice drainage. I put my own compost and peat moss and perlite in these bags, thanks to James Bergioni and Gardner Scott and so many others who gave us the recipe to make your own. But yeah, they are just green. And look, I'm not claiming I have some scientific study or research to prove. I'm just telling you what works for me. When I raise these tomatoes, get them off the ground, let air, sunlight get to them, keep them dry, and water them every day. You got to be disciplined with the watering. I found they do just fine. Now, it's getting to be close to some pretty hot summer around here. We have very humid, very hot summers. So we'll see how this lasts. But so far, you can see, I'm pleased with how they're doing. And the only thing I've been doing is watering them. I give them a little natural fertilizer that I make myself. But this is one row of tomatoes. Let's go see some others. I put tomatoes wherever I got an empty spot. This is another tomato. I'm pretty sure that's a Sun Gold, and I squeezed it into this lettuce and pepper garden. Let's go over here, because I got a couple of beds of tomatoes. All right. These are my officially Creole tomatoes. Now, we have a good-natured, friendly debate down here. See the tomatoes in the background. What is a Creole tomato? Well, unofficially, if you grow a tomato in South Louisiana, it's a Creole tomato. So LSU actually bred a tomato and branded it and labeled it and promoted it and called it Creole tomato. And so this is what I got, and we'll just have to wait and see. It is got a lot of tomatoes on it. They're still green, but they're doing fine. And then we hop over to this bed. Quite a bit of tomatoes. Now, these are more seeds from my son up in Maryland. The packet just said the purple tomato, and let's see, I believe there's one that's turning right there. You can see how loaded with tomatoes it is. But again, just doing fine, keeping them dry, watering at the bottom. I have a feeling that in a couple of weeks, this is going to have so many purple tomatoes, it's going to look like a Christmas tree. So, here's another tomato that I put. This is at the end of a bed. I believe that was a volunteer too. And then, let's take a walk over here, because I have another little tomato patch going on. This is back with part of my original garden. Now, look at this monstrosity. I say monstrosity in a good way. This is Sun Gold, and yeah, you can see a few. They're up in there, and it's a good time to talk about pruning tomatoes. I don't really do it. I've tried it, and if pruning makes your life easier, then God bless you. But I don't know, I just like to have tomatoes do their thing. But again, keeping them off the ground. This is in a raised bed, and I got a trellis there, and the nectarine tree is even being used as a trellis. So So far, so good. I mean, look, I do not see any yellow leaves, any problems. It's just fantastic. Over here, they're growing daily. This is Roma. Roma, and then we have an extra Roma growing there. So, growing tomatoes is a challenge, but it's a fun challenge. And I think if you just do a couple of things right, they'll produce for you and for a long time. Eventually, they'll have to maybe get those yellow leaves at the bottom, but you can hold that off for as long as you want. Again, elevate, grow bags, and keep the plant dry. If it rains, you can't do anything about that, but keep it dry. And a bonus with the grow bags is early on, you can get started early, because if it's too cold or you have the threat of a freeze, you can bring that in. So just wanted to show you my tomatoes, and I'm gonna keep you up to date. I'm gonna keep showing you, especially as they ripen, because it's fun. Once they start to ripen, I mean, I literally can't keep up. So yeah, raised beds, grow bags, fresh air, sunshine, water just about every day. So, okay, gang, look forward to some more videos. So much to cover. But in the meantime, thanks for checking in. I'll see you later. Bye from Madisonville, Louisiana.